Hello traders, this is Rich Derrick from tradesight. This is a look at the leading stocks via our proprietary scans for this coming session. It's going to be for Thursday, May 2nd, 2013. We have a real-time data streamed to us via the eSignal QLink product. So taking a look at the averages here, what we're seeing is just kind of a paired-off situation in the Nasdaq patch. The Nasdaq was stronger than the broad market today, and what we have is we don't have a real bias either way for buy or sell signals. We definitely see mostly minuses here across the board as far as the open versus the close. A couple of volume bumps, but nothing really too definitive. Saw some pretty good weakness today in SanDisk and also BlackBerry, but I think the more interesting setups I think are a little bit lower down the list. So let's take a look down at the financials. Moving down to the financials, you can see more of a bias to the sell side here. There were a couple pockets of strength. The ICE and the NYMEX, that's the NYX was fairly strong today. Both of those were on volume, but the rest of the plain vanilla financials were really fairly weak. A couple of them were weak on volume as well, so definitely make note of that. The energy patch was actually to the downside today, even though the commodity prices were trying to rally at the end of the day. They really didn't do enough to move the needle for the individual stocks. CHK had a horrible day, almost 4% below the open, not quite 2 times the typical volume. Devon wound up finishing above the day's close, but does have a differential sell condition because it pulled down far enough from the day's high. And we do have very, very heavy volume there, 2.3 times the typical volume. Also saw a lot of volume in RIG today. RIG was to the upside on some good volume. The one that's really sticking out here is PBR. It's got another downside CPS sell signal, about 1.8% below the day's open. Generals were actually fairly well paired off, which is kind of good considering the weakness in the overall broad market. I mean, the Dow was really the weakest leg of the stool today, and it was down almost 1%. Had a pretty good volume in Best Buy. We've got a camouflage buy signal. Got a downside CPS signal in Caterpillar on increased volume, so definitely want to put that on the list. GE and Pfizer both had camouflage buy signals. UNH has a downside CPS sell signal, but it's on a little bit lighter volume. There's also some good volume today in Verizon. That's VZ. That was 2.5% below the day's open, so you're going to see a big bearish candle on today's chart. Housing patch was fairly muted as far as signals go. We do have one downside signal in DHI. 1.6% below the open was definitely the weakest of the bunch today. Transports, we have sell signals in CSX and also UPS, but neither one of them are on volume bumps. And finally, commodities. Commodities had a kind of a whipsaw day. They were weak earlier, then they tried to rally them back into the meeting, and especially after the meeting, a lot of these commodity names started picking up, but most of them did close far enough away from the highs that we didn't get any buy signals. We do have one downside signal. That's in the Mosaic. That's almost 2% below the day's open, so we expect that to take out today's low before it takes out today's high. All right, folks. Well, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.